Anin Anishinaabe Duke. Madame Indigenous Cause, Melanie Benjamin, your Chief Executive. Today we have an important message for all of our band members, and we are going to be talking about the coronavirus. As elected officials, our primary responsibility is to protect the health, the safety, and the general welfare of the Mille Lacs band members. For the past several weeks, our Tribal Emergency Response Team, which we call TERC, has been meeting on a regular basis to develop an emergency plan for the band. We have been coordinating with state and federal authorities, Indian Health Service, FEMA, and other agencies to ensure our plan addresses the needs of our community. Speaker Boyd and I have been working all weekend with the TERC committee and the commissioners, health experts, and others to finalize activation of the plan. And the band assembly also had emergency meeting today. I am announcing that today I signed executive order declaring a state of emergency for the Mille Lacs band. Also today, the band assembly convened an emergency meeting and passed the Emergency Management Act. Secretary Treasurer, Speaker of the Assembly, Sheldon Boyd, is here today to talk and give you a little understanding of the new act. Sheldon?
So in response to the current COVID-19 situation that we have regionally, and the band assembly has, the legislative branch and the band assembly has, we had an emergency meeting today, March 15, 2020, and discussed, passed a ordinance, a draft bill that was signed into law today also, and it is titled the Emergency Management Act, Title 27, and in attendance today were District 1 Representative Sandy Blake, District 2 Representative Marvin Bruno, District 3 Representative Wallace St. John, and of course Parliamentarian Darcy Big Bear, and we discussed and made changes and arrived at a final bill that was considered and signed into law just not less than an hour ago by the Chief Executive Benjamin. The important part of this, outside some of the sections, are the authorities that I've authorized into the Chief Executive. Those authorities are to establish a Tribal Emergency Response Committee, which will consist of the executive officers and any other officials or individuals the Chief Executive deems necessary to meet the demands of the emergency or disaster, to prepare and maintain a comprehensive emergency operation plan, and to coordinate preparations of the emergency operations plan and programs by the political subdivisions of the band, to institute training programs and public information programs, and to take all necessary preparatory actions, including the mobilization of the Tribal Police Department in advance of actual emergency or disaster. Now, to declare the state of emergency, in the event of a state of emergency or disaster, the Chief Executive is authorized to declare a state of emergency through the issuance of an executive order. Once the Chief Executive has declared a state of emergency, and until the termination of the state of emergency, the Chief Executive or the Tribal Emergency Response Committee, acting on behalf of the Chief Executive, may provide resources and services necessary to avoid or minimize harm to health, life, and property, enter into agreements with federal government and the government of the state of Minnesota for the receipt of public assistance funds, and coordinate such agreements between the political subdivisions of the band, and procure supplies and equipment, reallocate funds already appropriated to the political subdivisions of the executive branch as reasonably necessary to meet the needs of the emergency or disaster, and to prohibit any number of persons from assembling or gathering on or at any public place. The purpose of the legislation and the law that was signed into is to provide those authorities to the current chief, future chiefs to continue to provide a adaptable, strong base of laws for the Mille Lacs Band moving forward. We'd certainly like to, again, thank all the members of the Band Assembly that assembled today very quickly. The session of Band Assembly was done via phone, and it went fairly well, quick. All has been done within 3 hours. Pretty quick. Thank you very much.
Miigwech Sheldon. So the executive order approves the activation of our emergency response plan. It allows the band to access additional federal funding for any additional resources or equipment we might need to address this crisis. Band members will be receiving a letter with details about the plan. Letters will be hand-delivered tomorrow to people's homes and posted on Facebook today. There are changes coming that will impact everyone, but it is essential that we do everything in our power as a government to protect our band community from this virus. The more precautions we take up front, the safer that we will be in the long run. And a few of these changes that we are implementing will be discussed by Joyce Shingleby, Commissioner of Education, and Nicole Anderson, our Commissioner in Health and Human Services. So Joyce, would you like to come and provide your plan?
Bushu. So early education and K-12 programs will close beginning on Wednesday, March 18th. This follows the governor's closing of all public and charter schools in Minnesota. Daycare will remain open. Again, due to concerns regarding COVID-19, beginning on Wednesday, March 18th, the band's early education and K-12 programs in the Neyashing school system will close for 2 weeks with a plan of reopening on March 30th. Daycare will remain open at this time. This follows suit with the governor's 10 o'clock announcement this morning that all Minnesota and public and charter schools close for this period as well. Band educators and staff will also use this time to make plans for the possibility of needing to institute long-distance learning. Neyashing School's priority remains the educational needs and health of students, staff, and community. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Joyce, and I wanted to really stress too is that these are precaution measures. We want to make sure that we are completely ready if need be. And that's why the Band Assembly passed the bill today, and I'm also signing the executive order. Nicole Anderson, our Commissioner of Health and Human Services, will also talk about a lot of health-related policies and procedures and how we're going to move forward. Nicole?
Good afternoon. Effective immediately, the schedule for cleaning and disinfecting restrooms in all public band facilities has been increased. To protect our elders, band-assisted living units will now be restricted to residents only. This has been discussed with the ALU residents, and they are in agreement with this decision. A band coronavirus update page has been set up. This will be the central location for all information and community recommendations. Band supervisors will meet with employees tomorrow to explain emergency measures that will be activated to protect employees and band members from the spreading of the virus. A travel ban is now in effect for band employees to prevent spread to our community. The clinic is making changes as well, including a new entrance for anyone who has symptoms or is in need of testing. Clinic changes will be shared with band members by our Health and Human Services staff within the next 24 hours. We have also made plans to ensure that elderly nutrition program continues throughout the crisis and meals are delivered to elders. These are just a few of the first changes in our emergency response plan that are going into effect immediately. It is so important that you and your families do everything you can do to prevent the spread of the virus. The most important is that if you have cold or flu symptoms, or if you've been exposed to someone with coronavirus, stay away from elders and other band members with health conditions. As Indian people, we have a very high number of band members who are in high-risk groups for getting very ill from coronavirus. Groups such as the elderly and those with diabetes, heart disease, or weakened immune systems. We all must do our part. More detailed recommendations are included in the letter that will be posted this afternoon, so please watch for that. Finally, elders have told us that we should begin boiling cedar in our homes. This will help all of our families in a good way. As a government, we are united in addressing the crisis. If coronavirus should come to our band community, Phase 2 of our emergency response plan will be activated immediately. This will include other emergency measures to ensure the sick person is cared for and that anyone quarantined has the support they need to get through the quarantine period. The most important thing for our band members to know is that our band government is prepared to do whatever it takes to protect the health and welfare of our band members, and we will keep you updated of any changes as soon as they occur. Thank you.
As you can see, we've had many meetings, and we have plans already prepared if we need to activate those. And also, I think we're very proud that we have Monty Frank as our tribal emergency response coordinator that has been paying attention to this for months and months and months. And Monty is going to have a separate video to really talk about a lot of these issues and how we're moving forward. And so we appreciate you listening today. And also, if you have any questions, please make sure you contact tribal government and we will provide all of the answers that we have for you. Miigwech.